Last session, Emily began to look at the topic of friendships and what being a good friend and making good friendships can look like. Today, I want to look at some of the closest friendships that Jesus had and the fact that we still have the opportunity to be friends with him now. From the Bible, we know that Jesus doesn't and didn't discriminate in who he showed love to. All ages, all walks of life, all cultures, even the people that made it clear that they didn't like him. He loved everyone and extended friendship to many people. He had a close group of friends, however, that he chose to invest in and undoubtedly spent the most time with. There were 12 of them in this friendship group, and we often call them the 12 disciples. You may be familiar with them. They were Peter, Andrew, James, John, Bartholomew, Matthew, Thomas, James, Simon, Judas, and Judas Iscariot. It's a long list. Had to read my notes. These guys were almost always with Jesus. They travelled, ate, rested, walked, talked, laughed, and shared so many adventures with Jesus. From the best moments, like when Peter walked with Jesus on the water, to the hardest moments, like when they shared the Last Supper before Jesus was arrested. Why did Jesus choose this group of friends to open up most to and to share so much of his time with? And what did he look for when he chose them to come with him on his travels? They were by no means the perfect group. They had had some interesting pasts. Neither were they the most powerful or popular or important people he could have found. From a former tax collector called Matthew, who was hated by many, to the most ordinary of fishermen, like Peter. But I think the key to why Jesus chose this group was that he realised they were people that would run with him on his mission, that believed in him and his calling, and that would encourage him as best as they knew how. Just as importantly, they were people that he could encourage, that he believed in, and that he would run with to help them fulfil their purposes too. They were a group of friends who cared about each other deeply and would spur one another on. These friendships were pretty radical. They were all-in kind of friendships. Like Jesus, I believe we should be loving to everyone and extend friendship to anyone. But for our closest friendships, we definitely want to have people who will care deeply about us and spur us on, and that we can do the same for. It's also been great throughout my life to have at least a couple of those friends who really respect and share my faith and really understand my God-given purpose. You might not have anyone quite like that in your life right now, but it doesn't have to stay that way. You might find that coming to church or Ignite is a great place to begin those kind of friendships with people who also follow Jesus. But don't doubt that God is at work all the time, and he'll be drawing others of your friends to get to know him for themselves. He might even want to use you in that process. So we've looked at some of the close friendships that Jesus had with the disciples, and we've also thought a little bit more about making close friendships for ourselves. But it'd be a shame to have done a couple of sessions on friendships and not spoken about the amazing opportunity that we each have to know Jesus personally as our friend today. Jesus is certainly an extraordinary friend to have. As you know, Jesus was God's Son, God in human form. Since he went back to heaven and isn't on earth physically as a man right now, he has the time and power to be close friends with all of us all at once. Now Jesus wants to be a close companion to you. He has loved you and laid down his life for you and really wants that love to sink into your heart. He's also someone you can speak to and confide in, and he'll even speak back and confide things to you through his Holy Spirit, because that's what Jesus does with his friends. You'll also find having his love, friendship and teaching the best foundation as we navigate through life. As we finish today, let's reflect on some of Jesus' words from John 15, where he talks about friendship, having friendship with him, and also loving as he's loved us. I've loved you the way my Father has loved me. Make yourselves at home in my love. This is my command. Love one another the way I've loved you. This is the very best way to love. Put your life on the line for your friends. You are my friends when you do the things that I command you. I'm no longer calling you servants, because servants don't understand what their master's thinking and planning. No, I've named you friends because I've let you in on everything I've heard from the Father.